Good morning to my Stillman College family. I'm grateful to share this virtual space with you today as a part of your religious emphasis series. I am always excited to be here, always excited to chat with you because despite all that's happening around you in the world right now, your enrollment at Stillman signifies your commitment to molding the path ahead of you. If you set the intention right now as a student, you can begin to create a life of substance and a life of meaning. And I believe that the most expedient way for you to do this is to live on purpose. Deep within you lies a treasure, a gift that God gave you when you came into this world. And it is also has been given to you to bless the world with. What have I told you? The potential to all that you could ever be was already within you. That you didn't have to search outside of yourself. You didn't have to go online and find a store or find this package to tell you what your purpose was, but that the quest starts within you. Finding purpose is a journey of self-discovery, and it's adventure. It's like an adventure of coming home to yourself, your true self. And so there's a story that I loved, and it spans multiple generations, and it's called Hansel and Gretel. And it's about a brother and a sister who take a walk into the forest, and in case they get lost, they take these breadcrumbs with them and they drop them on the way on their trail. That if by chance they get lost coming out of the forest, all they had to do was to follow the breadcrumbs, and it would lead them out of the forest and lead them back to their home. And so I want to tell you what my favorite quote in the entire story is, and it is, and Hansel said to Gretel, "Let us drop these breadcrumbs so that together we may find our way home." God gives us breadcrumbs. And as our path unfolds before us, breadcrumbs appear to guide us in the direction of our purpose. And so today we're going to focus on two of these breadcrumbs. And I chose these two breadcrumbs because when you came into this world, whether you knew it or not, you had passions and you had gifts that God had given you already within you. And so I want to talk about them today. Your passions plus your gifts can be a great indicator of your purpose. So let's get going. So let's start with your passions. What ignites you? What lights your fire? What healthy activities do you do that in the process you lose a sense of time and nothing else seems to matter? And maybe you're doing it for a few minutes and it's like you're in a flow. And once you're done or you look up, the whole day or the whole evening has gone by, because that's just how in tune this activity is with your insides, with you. So I want to talk a little bit about Kobe Bryant because he talks a lot about his passion in his book. And he says that he knew what his passion was as a child, and that when he got his very first basketball, all he could think about was how he sounded. He loved how it sounded and how it felt in his hands. He says that as a child, when he was dribbling the basketball, it was the sound of life and light. That's how he describes it, life and light. And I don't know about you, but when I hear a basketball dribble, all I hear is a basketball dribbling. When my niece Joy is outside practicing hoops or shooting baskets, dribbling the ball, for me, I hear a basketball. But for her, I am sure that it's the sound of life and light. And for anybody who is passionate about basketball, it's just not the sound of a dribbling basketball, but it is a sound that gives life. What do you do that brings you life? What brightens the light inside of you and makes you feel lighter? That's a sign of your genuine passion. So for Kobe, it was basketball. For Chadwick Boseman, it was acting. What is it for you? Is it singing? Is it speaking? Is it doing hair? Is it football? Is it mixtapes and rapping? What is it? Sometimes passions aren't a feel-good thing. Sometimes they aren't a feel-good thing. What topics do you see in the news or conditions in the world that stand out to you? Is it the lack of water in Flint, Michigan, or in Uniontown, Alabama? But what about police brutality? What about police brutality? When Trayvon Martin, I remember, was murdered, there were 3 Black women who followed their passions around this social justice concern. And from there, they moved from a hashtag to birthing a Black-centered movement that emphasizes Black Lives Matter. And it is 2021, and we are still being organized around Black Lives Matters because they followed their breadcrumbs. They found their passion in activism and in organizing. And to my activists and organizers who are listening on the campus, you know that activism is not just something that you pick up one day and you set down the next, but it's something that calls you, that tugs you until you act. That is genuine passion. So what are you passionate about? What in society do you have an urge to help change? Maybe your passion is found in doing the things you love, like we talked about earlier, Kobe with his basketball, doing the things that you love, that make you light up on the inside. Or maybe your passion is hidden in the things that agitate you, such as some of our present day social justice concerns, like environmental injustice, fair housing, police brutality, those things. That was passions. So our next breadcrumb is gifts. Gifts, despite what you may believe about yourself, I'm here to tell you that you came into this world with one or more gifts. You may not see it now, but you have treasures deep down on the inside of you that are meant to bless this world. Passions alone won't do it. Just having passion about something won't do it, because as it relates to our purpose, you need to be good at the thing that you're passionate about or be in a position to cultivate it. So what do I mean? If passions and our purpose are meant to bless the world, it means that you must combine passion plus your gifts to have something to bless others besides yourself. So you need to be passionate about that thing that you're gifted for in order for it to be a true breadcrumb to your purpose. So what do I mean? Have you ever met somebody that was passionate about singing, but they were not gifted to sing? They had the energy of a performer, the look of an artist, but when they opened their mouth, they could not sing. I mean, they dressed like Beyonce, they looked like Beyonce, their hair was laid, but when they opened their mouth or when they started dancing, they did not fit the bill. They were not gifted in that area. By all means, you can have passions that you're not gifted at, but when you want to say that I'm going to bless the world with this gift and this passion, you need to be passionate about it and also be gifted in that area. And that will lead you to your purpose. Our purpose is given to us to bless the world. And so we need to identify the places where our passions and our gifts begin to marry and to overlap. So what are your gifts? Gifts are characteristics and expressions that God has given you that are typically strained for others to accomplish. Okay, good example. If you look around at your network at school, maybe the people in your dorm or your fraternity brothers or your sorority sisters, there's some things that you probably are good at that they are not so good at. And how do you know? They consistently ask you to do that activity. They consistently ask for your help in that area because you're good at it. And sometimes our gifts come so natural to us that we're not even able to identify it ourselves. So it can become like a blind spot. You know how you have a car in your peripheral and you can't see it. Sometimes our gifts are like that for us because we are so used to doing that thing that we don't see it ourselves. But I can guarantee you that your friends and your families and the people that you serve with in community organizations, whether Greek or non-Greek, or even in class, even your professors likely see the things that you are gifted at. But I want you to know, even if you feel like you don't have a gift, even if you feel like that there's something that you're not good at, trust me, you are. And so you need to begin to rely on your friends and your families to begin to tell you what you're gifted at, what you're good at. That's a good way to look at it. What are you good at? And so once you begin to notice your gift, it is up to you to cultivate that gift, right? God has already done his part, per se, in giving us a gift that's buried within us, something that we came into this world with. But now, Stillman students, it's your job to cultivate that gift, and you are in a great environment to cultivate that gift. So begin to find ways to use your gift on campus, in your residence halls, in your clubs, at your church, however you serve. Begin to use the gifts that God gave you. So when you begin to give yourself away, remember I said the gifts that God gave us, the purpose that God gave us, it was meant for us to bless the world with. And so that is the way you will begin to give yourself away. But when you start doing that, watch what happens. Those gifts that God gave you become amplified. They become magnified beyond your human understanding. Because at that point, you have met God. You have met God on the journey and started being that individual that God created you to be. You were created with purpose in mind. And when you began to pick up your purpose, find your purpose, and begin to use that in your everyday environment, watch how God begins to just take your life and move it forward. But you agreed with God, you aligned with God and who God created you to be. So begin to give yourself away in the area of your gifts and your passions, and watch God amplify them. There are opportunities all around you for you and I to bless the world, to serve, to give. But when you start doing that, you're going to begin to find yourself on your way home to your true self. If you set the intention to use your gift, I guarantee you the pathway gets brighter, and people will start showing up on your path that have passions, that have gifts and purposes that are complementary to yours. And then when that starts happening, that's how you begin to bless the world together. And so remember, we talked about the 3 women who birthed the Black Lives Matter movement. It's a movement. They birthed it. They helped organize so that it can grow to be something that was sustained. But each of them likely had the same passion, but were gifted in different ways. And they began to come together as a collective. And as a collective, they had a greater impact. That's the goal, to begin to find people who have purposes that are complementary to yours. Because when you find people that come together for the same purpose, and they are the same mindset, they have the same goal, but they are likely gifted in different ways, you can begin to change the world. You want to see some things change on your college campus? You want to see some things happen in the life of Stillman College or in the life of your family? You get in purpose. You find what you're good at, and you find the people that will show up on your path with gifts and passions complementary to yours, and you can change your environment. God has given you something great to bless the world with, but to also connect with others, to be a greater blessing, to change things that seem to be unchangeable. And so today, these are your breadcrumbs. Now more than ever, it's an opportune moment right now as a student at Stillman to start identifying the ways that God made you to uniquely bless the world. You are a gift. Within you lies a treasure. There is no one else quite like you. So begin to follow the breadcrumbs home.
The seed of purpose is within us. But are you giving it enough light and water to grow? Sometimes we have too many objects in frame, making it hard to focus. We let detrimental relationships get in the way. Or we leave our joy out to be stolen by comparing our lives to what we see on our phone screens. Who are you? Why are you here? These are the questions the Creator wants to help us answer. On our self-discovery journey to finding our purpose, God leaves us clues, breadcrumbs. If we can silence the noise and take a closer look at our lives, our relationships, our gifts. We'll see. They're all breadcrumbs, leading us like the North Star to our purpose.